This Town of Adams Board of Selectmen's meeting is now in session, Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. Could you all please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from August 15th, 2018. Everyone can vote. Deb, on this one?
Yes.
Okay. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as submitted for the August 15, 2018 meeting.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Unanimous decision. Next is public comment. Would anyone in the audience like to address the board with anything that is not on this evening's agenda? Okay. Seeing none. I would like to request of the board that we move under 5B, local inspector, Don Fitzgerald, to it's tabled, and like to take it off the table and add it to old business.
Mr. Chairman, since I tabled that, I'd like to change it to old business. And the reason it's going to be changed to old business is because we had a discussion about it, and we still haven't come to any conclusion, so we're going to be working toward discussing it in an upcoming workshop. So since it's been tabled once, we put it under old business because we didn't want to table it again.
We have a motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Unanimous decision. Moving on, and we're not going to act on that this evening, as Joe has indicated. Next, under new business, we have a one-day wine license application. DeMarsico's Wine Cellar, LLC, 16 Anthony Street, Adams, Mass. This is for Ramble Fest 2018. The date is October 9th, and the hours are 12 to 5. Okay, the board has all the information in their packets, including insurance information, including Chief Tarsa's inputs to it. Any questions by the board, or do you have a direction to go?
I see that the applicant's here.
Oh,
Would you
yeah,
like to step forward?
Hi, everyone. Just one clarification, the date is actually Sunday.
Okay. Could you please state your name and your affiliation, both of you, please?
I'm Cheryl DeMarsico, owner.
Okay.
I'm Glenn DeMarsico, co-owner.
Okay, great.
So it's October 7th?
Yes.
Yep. October 7th. Is there anything you'd like to discuss, or good to go?
No, good to go.
Everything's good.
Yeah, I just had a question. I was kind of curious. Could you tell me a little bit about your operation? I've heard of it, but can you tell me a little bit about it, like where you get your grapes and all of that kind of stuff?
Sure. We get our grapes from our Suzanne Valley in California. Actually, we get the juice. We don't have a facility big enough to for the grapes and the machinery. So we get the juice, we add our chemicals, we add our yeast, and then we get our berries from Midwest. And then we get our honey from Florida Mountain Mass. And we're doing ciders now, so we got our apple cider from Bartlett's in Richmond, Mass. And we do, did I touch everything?
Yeah.
We got a 1,300 square footage over at the NORAD Mill, North Adams. We got a 750 square foot tasting room. And we're open on Saturdays and Sundays 1 to 5.
And just my last question, do you distribute locally or do you only buy at your premises?
No, we do local distribution. We, Val's here in Adams, and Gary's in Adams, and
B&B's,
B&B's. And
Freight Yard and
Freight Yard Pub.
Trail House.
Trail House. Yeah.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else from the board?
Yeah, I have a question. Do you have to be tip certified to serve this wine, Chief? Do you have to be tip certified for this, to serve the wine?
I believe they should be all set.
We are,
according to What's
yes.
happened in the past.
Right.
We are tip certified.
Okay.
That is expected.
It certainly wouldn't hurt, but they should be all set if every employee was trained.
Anything else from the board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would, before we vote on it, I'd like to make sure that we, is it necessary to take a motion to change the date in the form of a motion, or is it just okay that we were told the change was necessary because the date was wrong?
I think the motion has, date has been identified as being incorrect, and it has been corrected.
Okay.
I'm sure Deb will ensure that in the minutes that it shows that, and then the motion itself will have the correct date.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else from the board? What is the board's pleasure?
I make a motion that we certify DeMarsco's Wine Cellar LLC to serve wine on October 7th, 2018, from 12 to 5 p.m. at the, what is it now, the Ramble Fest.
We have a motion by Jim. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Rick. Any further discussion?
I just wanted to mention to the board that although I'm in support of this application, because I'm on the Pro Adams board, I can't vote on it.
Okay.
I'm abstaining.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Okay. Motion has approved, and good luck.
No, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Next, we have the Adams Turners Incorporated, 6 Turners Ave, Adams, September 22nd, 2018, from 1 to 6. Do we have a representative from the Turn Hall here this evening? I believe this is an event that they have yearly, not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
So yes, they have this every year. This is the members' picnic, 1 to 6 on September 22nd. Other, the bar manager is tip certified. Police chief has assigned officers. Everything looks good. And they also have their strategic plan for underage sales. Chief's okay with that, I believe. Okay, what is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day wine and malt license application for Adams Turners for September 22nd, 2018, 1 to 6 p.m. for their members' picnic.
We have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Rick. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Unanimous
Do I have
decision.
to abstain on this?
Former president of the
Past
league.
president and a member.
Okay, so we took the vote. Was 4 in favor, 1 abstention, Jim? That's fine. It's up to you. Okay, so that's approved. And finally, under new business, well, under the one-day license applications, we have Bright Ideas Brewing, 111 Masmoka Way. Yes, we do have a representative here.
Hi there.
Could you state your name, please, and your affiliation?
I'm Colleen Rafferty. I'm the operations manager at Bright Ideas Brewing in North Adams.
And you have taken part in these before, I believe?
Yes, this will be our second year at Ramble Fest, and this is our third event in Adams this year.
Great. Okay, any questions from the board? Do we have the paperwork there?
No. No, I have the letter to the chief, that's it.
I have the paperwork in
I
my
think that
packet.
the insurance paperwork is on the back of that.
That's the insurance.
Right, but what is the,
The application is there,
Application.
yep.
There's this one. The red ideas.
oh, all right. Couldn't see the forest through the trees.
What's there?
Couldn't see the forest through the trees.
Okay, looks like, to me, everything is in order. The policy is still in effect, insurance policy. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, what is the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Bright Ideas Brewing on October 7th, 12 to 5 for Ramblefest.
Motion by Rick, do we have a second?
Second it.
Second by Jim. Any further discussion?
And once again, just wanted to point out, I am on the board of Pro Adam, so I'll have to abstain.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstention.
We have abstention from Christine. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
All right, next, we have appointments. As we've already discussed as a board, we're going, the local inspector is in old business. We will, as Joe has indicated, we will take a look at that at a workshop in the near future. Next, we have Zoning Board of Appeals alternate. And I was at the Zoning Board of Appeals last week, and they did remind me that they do not have any, according to them, any alternates. So we have Wayne Piaggi. Thank you. Could you please come up to the, speak with the board? Now, with the Zoning Board of Appeals, the board has, in recent past, we've decided to ask questions, just to get, just to get your background a little bit and get to know who you are, and most of us know who you are, but we'd like to just talk to you about some of your past experience in this area. Did you want to just talk to the board and provide why do you want to be on the zoning board and some of your experience that you have?
Well, I haven't had time to prepare anything. I'm on the Adams Agricultural Fair Committee. I'm part of the Adams, trying to rebuild the Adams Agricultural Commission. I'm on that. I try to stay active in town goings-on with everything with the boards, different boards. I try to get into every meeting I can because I'd like to move this town forward in the future. And I think people should volunteer in town to get on these boards so we can have discussions on how to do so and implement things. One of the things I try to do is I try not to have opinions of matters. I try to go exactly what the state says or the town bylaws say, because there's no room for opinions when it comes to decision making. We have to follow exactly the exact rules, and that's how I feel about things.
Any questions from the board?
I don't really have a question, I already know Wayne, but I just want to make sure you are aware that not only does this position have responsibility as far as the town, but personal responsibility. That you can personally be held responsible for, I guess, a bad decision, so to speak.
Well, I think tell me if I'm wrong, I think that if you follow state guidelines and the statutes of Adams, the codes, I think going that route, there's nothing to worry about. If you're following the laws. It's when you deviate from that pattern that you can get in trouble for things.
Okay. Anything else from the board?
Just a question about, do you have the time to give to the zoning board? I know that they meet typically twice a month, and I think that there's some training that's coming up or will be scheduled in the near future, and is that something that you'd be willing to
Yes.
attend and able to attend?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks.
I was at a board meeting last week, and there was a vote of 3 in favor, 1 against. The 1 against didn't take the popular stance, but he did what he believed in. And is that something that, just want to, your personality, and you indicate you're going to follow state law, local bylaws, and so is that something that you could see you doing and have no issue with that?
Yes, I don't have an issue with it.
It's a
no.
small town, you know how that works, but you'll do what's right, right? Okay, any other questions for the board? What is the board's pleasure?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the appointment of Wayne Piaggi as Zoning Board of Appeals alternate.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Rick. Now, there's some training. You're going to have to be sworn in after the vote's taken this evening. And there's some training tomorrow after, somebody have the time?
6 o'clock. You-
It's going to be right here in the Mahogany Room.
I'll be here.
So you'll be here. The zoning board will be here. And I also invite all the select board or anyone else who would like to come to this training. Don Dubendorf, I believe, is he the individual? So that'd be great if you could make that training.
Yeah, not a problem.
Awesome. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, unanimous? Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Excellent.
Make sure you contact the town clerk's office
Yep.
tomorrow.
Yep, I'll stop in.
All right. Next, under appointments, we have for Agricultural Commission member, Emily, thank you, Krasanik. She was unable to make it this evening. The board has not made the stipulation that individuals for other committees need to be here. What is the board's pleasure on this? I think we have we had her background in the past. I think it was was impressive, or was that?
It is.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, quite impressive background. I think it's somebody we really want to get on this board. And the Agricultural Commission only has 2 members. Well, this will make a second member for
Right.
you, Wayne. You're trying to bring that board back to the community, so I think this will be an excellent addition, depending on the board's decision, for the Agricultural Commission. What is the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to appoint Emily Krasanik to the Agricultural Commission.
Motion by Rick. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I would just like to say I know Emily. She's a very nice person, very well-schooled in this type of position that I believe she'll be appointed to, and I think that the youth of our community is something that we need to take advantage of. And since Wayne is here right now, how aggressive have you been trying to get people to join? I mean, we haven't had a board for an awful long time. Have you tried to go out and ask people?
Would you please come up to the podium? Thank you. So everyone at home can hear you?
Not a problem. Well, as I was saying earlier, before the meeting, I haven't done anything this year because of my health. My health has been really bad. I just had 2 surgeries, and they were successful, and it's over. My health is now improving, and I'm going on that route. So I'm going to aggressively go out to the town and try to find more board members. I do get emails from Deb, and I do talk to the farmers in town to see if we can help them with anything. But I've been doing this pretty much on my own, and now that I used to, last year I did a lot more. Nobody really wants to help out. They say they do, but to get them to meetings is almost impossible. I'm sure you can understand that.
Yeah, right, because I really, having served on it for the chairman and for some years, it's really an important committee to have up and running. I think that, it's very important that we help out the best we can, the farmers and anybody interested in agriculture, because it's such a prominent part of our past, and I think
Yes.
it's going to be just more prevalent as the future comes, when people's needs to eat good foods and that type of thing. So I hope that you can, try to get a board together. It also helps with our ability to get certain grants also.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I'm hoping in a couple months, we can get one more person on, start having regular meetings, we can take off on some of this. There's a lot of ideas out there, a lot of ideas that I have. Farm to plate with the restaurants, starting neighborhood gardens, get people involved that way. But I can't do it by myself. I got to have a quorum. Kind of hard to do it by yourself.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
sounds good.
Can I
Christine?
ask a couple questions since you're at the microphone and you have a television audience and iBerkshires is here, and we're talking about getting members for the Agricultural Commission. So how many members typically has the commission had? I should know this, but I don't.
Actually, I think Joe would be the best person to ask her that.
It was up to 7, but usually we were only able to get 5.
5, okay, so 3 would be your quorum.
3 would be a quorum, yes.
Okay, and so what would be the ideal committee member? What are you looking for?
Somebody, well, I know the farmers
Emily's
don't have a lot of
impressive.
time. No, it's
Yeah.
fine. It could be anybody, really. Anybody who likes to do reading, that wants to help the town out. Farmers would be great to have on it because they're most knowledgeable, but somebody who has the time to go see the farmers and go see the restaurants. And we need somebody to, like a go-between, to go between the farmers and the restaurants to get them together to start, I was going to say barter, but no, but start businesses together and get it off the ground and get more produce, local produce, into the restaurants. And it could be somebody who's just good at speaking.
And the time commitment? Are you looking at monthly meetings or?
Yeah, monthly meetings to start, yeah. To have something more than once a month would be, I think it'd be futile right now because it's not enough.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to go. You need a vote, right? All right, so we, any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. All right, next we have for the Adams Suffrage Centennial Celebration Committee member, Cassandra Pelletier. See her here. Donna, do you have any information on this, or?
Yeah, well,
Joe?
serving on the committee as a voting member, Cassandra Pelletier is the new museum curator up at the Susan B. Anthony Museum. Colleen Jan's stepped down. She's now at the Dog Museum. She'll be overseeing that. The members of our committee felt that it was important that we have the curator of the museum on our board, and our bylaws allowed for that. So as Christine has been doing, I'm not going to vote on this because I'm a voting member, but that was the board's thought. She came to our meeting. She's a newly graduate from Mount Holyoke, very enthused about the job, and I think she'll be a great addition on our committee.
Okay. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make a motion to appoint Cassandra Pelletier, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay. To the Adams Suffrage Centennial Celebration Committee as a voting member.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Jim. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
And we have one abstention. Okay. All right, the next 3 items are Board of Selectmen liaison appointments. The first one is the Traffic Commission, Board of Selectmen liaison. Jim Bush has volunteered to be that liaison.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to appoint James Bush to the Traffic Commission.
We have a motion from Joe.
I'll second it if we change it to liaison.
We can add
You're
the
not a
word-
voting member of the Traffic Commission.
No.
Joe's okay to add the word liaison?
Yeah.
All right, so we have that motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Rick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. Next, we have the We have something over there. All right, ad hoc committee
You
on
didn't say no.
Solid Waste Board of Selectmen Liaison. Again, Jim Bush has volunteered to be the liaison to that committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to appoint Jim James Bush as liaison to the ad hoc committee of the Solid Waste District.
We have a motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Rick. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
We have one abstention. And the third one, the Zoning Board of Appeals, Board of Selectmen Liaison. I have volunteered to take on that role in replacement of Christine, who has taken on several other roles. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to make Chairman Duval the liaison of our board for the Zoning Board of Appeals.
We have a motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Jim. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Unanimous. That takes care of the appointments for the evening. Next, we have facility use requests. The first one is the Memorial School, Bart Charter School.
Mr. Chairman, I would request that the board postpone this until your meeting on the 19th. We had a meeting today with our architects, EDM, for the Memorial School project, and there could be a problem with putting in the conduit and, you know, some of the work to do the HVAC system. So I just want to have a better idea. Hopefully it would still allow the school to use the gymnasium, but I just wanted to make sure before the board voted on that.
Okay, do we have a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table the facility use request from Bart Charter School for the use of Memorial School starting in November and running through February.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Rick. Any further discussion?
Donna, will someone contact Bart just to let
Yes.
them know that this has been
Yes.
tabled? Okay, thank you.
Anything else from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none. Unanimous. Next facility use request is for Russell Field, the Bart Charter School, for August 20th, 2018 to June 14th, 2018. This is an annual event. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question. It does have here on the facility use that they were looking for access to bathrooms. Was this discussed with DPW and/or the Parks Commission? Yeah, because I don't see that the town administrator has signed it.
I did.
You did, okay.
Did the chairman of the Parks Commission sign this?
I can't verify that there was just, you know, this specific discussion about the use of the bathrooms, but they did sign it also, DPW.
Okay. What is the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the facility use request for Russell Field from August 20th, 2018 to June 14th, 2019 for Bart Charter School from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
I'll second the motion for discussion. The dates that they have identified for Russell Field run from August 20th, 2018 to June 14th, 2019, over the winter months. And I thought this was for their summer, unless I'm off here.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like it's for their fitness classes,
So they're out there in the middle
so
of the...
PE classes.
Oh, these are for the school's PE classes. I'm sure weather permitting is when they hike over. Okay.
Correct.
That makes more sense to me now. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Rick made it.
Rick made the motion, and I seconded it.
Yep.
And any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous. Thank you for that clarification. The next one, the facility use request is for Valley Street Field, Bart Charter School, August 6, 2018 to November 5th, 2018. And do we have the Parks and Rec Board agreeing to this? They keep track of all these things because they have the soccer and they have,
Yes, but with a modification.
Yeah, stay off the field until week of August 13th.
Yep.
okay, so there is a stipulation that the Parks and Rec has made, and we will follow that. Okay, any other discussion, questions?
I just had well, more of a comment than a question. I'm all for allowing, the children to the use of our fields, but, when I look at this and, like Bart School using a lot of our facilities as part of their educational pursuit, I certainly am going to vote to allow it, but I just question, that being part of their curriculum is the use of our town's fields without any type of a stipend or anything. That's just a concern.
Bart is a public school.
Right.
So, and I understand the funding issue, and that's more of an issue, I think, with the state, with how charter schools are funded, but these are still our youth who are going to a public school.
That's what I opened up, my initial statement. I'm
Yeah.
all for the youth of the community, but
And I think
I'm
it's great
also-
they're using our fields and not going
well,
elsewhere.
they wouldn't, I don't think they'd have the ability to make it much more cost prohibitive to go other places, but it's just been a little concern of mine that, they're using our fields for their educational benefit, and we're really not getting anything out of it, but
If I may, I would just add that they've been very supportive of the Parks Commission discussion about a fee schedule and stuff. I
Okay.
think they've been very supportive of that. The other thing, I think the school does give back to Adams. Last, I guess it was spring, they did a cleanup along the bike trail. Students came out and they cleaned up all around Town Hall and stuff. They raked. They've been picking up trash. So there's ways that maybe we don't see that they really do contribute to our community.
okay.
So,
No, I just wanted to bring that up because it's becoming more prevalent each year that they're asking for more and more.
No, we haven't yet.
Okay, nothing else.
No.
Okay,
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the facilities request form for Bart Charter School for the use of Valley Street Field starting August 13th and running through November 5th, 2018, to be used Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. That was August 13th through the 17th, and then August 20th through November 5th, Monday through Thursday, 3:40 to, I believe that says 5:50 p.m. Must be a scheduling.
okay, we have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a second by Rick. Any further discussion from the board? Okay, I'd like, just to add the remark that the Board of Selectmen in the town do support the children of this community, and even though some of these children are from other towns and cities throughout Berkshire County, there are several Adams and Cheshire children that do attend BART, that this board has always in the past, as long as I've been here, we have supported their request. It really was for the kids themselves, to be able to have access to a field where they can have their gym and their athletic.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to bring up that my first statement was I'm all for the children.
Yes, you are.
It seems to me that your statement is making it look like I'm really not for it.
There was no intention,
Okay.
Joe, to do that. I just wanted to make it a point that sometimes you hear, maybe you do as I do, that the town of Adams does not, in these small circles, support the children of this community, but we do.
I have not heard that we don't support our children.
Well, I've heard
with
that.
Sports and things.
I have heard that in certain circles. But anyways, Joe, I think we're on the same
Yeah.
page. Okay? All right.
We made a motion, we had a second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. Okay, now we're into Reed Fields. We have two requests. This is normal from the same kind of request from last year. The Adams Cheshire softball, Adams Cheshire Savoy girls softball requested the use of Reed Field from September 1st, 2018 to October 31st, 2018.
Mr. Chairman, did we vote on the second request for Bart, or did we just do the first one?
We did Russell and Valley Street.
Okay.
Yeah, we
You did them
voted on
in
both.
dual?
Oh, we did
No,
them separately?
no, separately.
Okay.
What is any discussion from the board in regards to Reed Field? So I'm on track, right, Deb? Thanks.
It looks like it's in coordination with the request that follows this, which is the Adams Lassie League, so I am happy to see that.
Yes, we are. Last year, they worked out a schedule with the Parks Commission, and it appears that they've done the same again this year, so we thank them for doing that.
So, Mr. Chairman, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the facility request form for ACS girls softball, September 1st through October 31st, 2018, for use on Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and alternating Fridays as coordinated with the Lassie League, for weekend mornings and afternoons, and weekday afternoons and evenings.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
Second it.
Second by Jim. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. And the Adams Lassie League for Reed Field, August 21st, 2018 to December 1st, 2018.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion as well, to approve the facility request form for the Adams Lassie League, August 21st through December 1st, 2018, on Saturdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and alternating Fridays as coordinated with ACS girls softball, the hours of 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
We have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rick. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I would like to also reiterate that I'm happy to see that these two leagues have put aside their differences and are working for the betterment of the community by, they're talking to one another and sharing the field.
That's a good point, Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. And the final facility use request is for the Visitor Center, LC Square, September 6, 2018.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, could you elaborate to let the people that are watching know what the LC Square is and what the reason for the meeting is? I don't think people would understand who they are and what the meeting at the Visitor Center is going to represent.
Okay, so this is a community outreach meeting. Donna, do you have a history of this group, the LC Square?
So they've been before the Board of Selectmen, introduced themselves.
Right.
Art Babayan, I always pronounce his name wrong, but he is the CEO. He was here in front of the board. Recently, the town has executed the community host agreement with LC Square, and another requirement of their application to the Cannabis Control Commission, they need to have a community outreach meeting. They asked, would there be a facility in town that was well located, so we suggested the visitor center. I worked with the director at the Council on Aging, and they're able to have the meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. They anticipate it being about an hour, but it's a way for people in the community to be introduced to the company, to understand what they're proposing, the improvements that they'll be making to the property at 173 Columbia Street, and certainly answer any of the community's questions.
Thank you. Please attend tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. at the Visitor Center. This is the individual, the gentleman that came to our last meeting, or the one before was recent, about the business he would like to open up. So any concerns that you may have, please attend, ask questions, and you will be better off for it, and stay off the social media, and get the facts at the meeting. Okay, what is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the facility use request of the Adams Visitor Center on 9/6/2018 from 6 to 7 for LC Squared Community Outreach Meeting.
We have a motion by Rick. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Jim. Any further discussion?
Question for the town administrator, aside from tonight, has this been publicized by either the town?
I believe it's on the town's website, and he is required to place some type of advertisement in the local paper, so I would imagine that would appear in the Berkshire Eagle. I have not seen it myself, but I wasn't looking for it either, so.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. All right. That was the last item under facility use requests. The next item is declaration of available property. Donna.
Okay, for any disposition of real property regardless of value, Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, requires municipal governments to declare the property available for disposition. I am requesting tonight that the board declare a portion of the former Memorial School building located at 30 Columbia Street available for disposition. And I know the board, about 4 or 5 years ago, did make this declaration. Because of so much time being lapsed, I think it would be appropriate for the board to vote to declare the property available. This would be the first step in implementing the board's intent to redevelop the classroom wing of the school building into some type of housing, or we've also discussed assisted living, while the remainder of the building, including the gym, the auditorium, and all the surrounding spaces, would be retained for community use and hopefully the future home of the Adams Council on Aging. Town staff, we're working now to prepare the request for proposals. We anticipate working with the board's Memorial School Subcommittee and then bringing it before the full board. I'd like to be able to release the RFP or issue the RFP toward the end of the month, or certainly by mid-October. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but we would ask for this first step tonight.
Would it be, why just a portion? Why can't you say the whole building?
To make it available?
Yeah, because would there be any reason why you couldn't word it that way? Because if all of a sudden we get somebody interested and they have to go to other parts of the building in order to accommodate what they're going to need for work, for wiring or other things, I was just wondering, the word part is...
So the intent would be that about approximately 25,000 square feet has been identified for community use. As I said, that includes the gym and the auditorium and spaces around there with access to Valley Street. The other portion of the building would be available for the disposition. So we need to clarify that. The community use portion is the portion of the property that we will be making the improvements in the HVAC system. That, as you know, we were awarded CDBG funding in fiscal year 18. So I think it is important to differentiate what is available and what would not be.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that the board declare the availability of property for 30 Columbia Street, the former Adams Memorial Middle School, for the section known as the classroom wing.
Motion by Rick, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous.
Thank you.
Department reports, town administrators report.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, just a couple of things. First, I wanted to report on the town hall roof replacement project. As you know, the project is out to bid again. Today at 10 o'clock, we conducted a pre-bid site visit with EDM Architects. One contractor, Silktown Roofing, they're out of Connecticut, participated in the meeting. The meeting was not mandatory. But they indicated they were very interested in bidding. The contractor was here for quite some time doing his own measurements. We will be issuing an addendum to provide additional information to those parties that have expressed interest in bidding, and we will be extending the bid due date to Thursday, September 20th, which is just a week from the bid due date of, next week. So hopefully we will get good bids, recognizing we're kind of late in the construction season, but we should be fine. The work itself won't take that long. We had a discussion today. It's probably the scaffolding that's going to be the most expensive part of this. As you know, the roof is extremely steep in places, and that's where the trickiest part of the overall project is. The other thing I wanted to report on is that the town has been awarded $2,800 under the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection's Sustainable Materials Recovery Program, which directs a portion of the proceeds from the sale of waste energy certificates to recycling programs that are approved by DEP. I wanted to be sure and thank the Executive Director for the Northern Berkshire Solid Waste Commission, Linda Cernick, who developed the grant application on behalf of the town. She's also helped the town in obtaining more points under the established program criteria than we've had in past years, so that's why we are receiving this higher amount. As the town continues to work toward improving our operations at the transfer station and pursuing other opportunities for recycling and waste reduction, I expect we'll be able to increase the amount of dividend funds in future years beyond the $2,800. So, but I did want to thank Linda. This is good news.
It is, and thank you, Linda, for all the work you've done here, because we haven't received that amount of money in.
Right, it's only been a couple of $100s in the past, so
Right.
it's.
So she did a great job here. Okay, any questions from the board in regards to Donna's report or anything else you would like to ask Donna? So Donna, the town hall roof replacement, save the clock tower.
Save the clock tower? Absolutely.
Thank you.
Maybe even make it work.
And one other thing,
Nice.
one other thing, we had a workshop a couple weeks ago in regards to the parking lot, the town parking lot. Is being redone. It's going to be a great project. I've been down there a few times, and it's going to be outstanding when it's complete. All new pavement, sidewalks. It's really going to be a nice place for everyone to use. The board also had the same concerns as those out in the community in regards to the elderly with the Council on Aging. That was a concern that was brought up, and the board has discussed with the town administrator that by the time we begin to use these, and they are kiosks, there's going to be 2 kiosks. We're not going to put a parking meter for every spot, as I've heard, throughout the parking lot. No. It's going to be 2 kiosks, as most people have found when they go to visit coastal communities. And people use them. And people that are 80 years old that I know use these things, so don't discredit our elderly. Most do very well for themselves. So we're going to have 2 kiosks, and the Council on Aging, the plan is, and the board talked to the town administrator, that they will be moved to the middle school by the time we begin to charge or to use the kiosks. So they'll be moved out at that time. And there's other concerns in regards to the doctor's building, and there's concerns in regards to the community bank and parking for their employees. There's concerns in regards to cheese and valves, and these are all things that Donna has been working on for months. We've had discussions in the past, Donna has, and we've had a public meeting, which I was here, and for the business owners to express their concerns, and they did have some concerns, and and Donna had worked hard to try to address those concerns. But there will be parking spaces for the doctor's building. The amount of the fee per month will be, whatever fee may be, that will be worked out. to the satisfaction of both the town and the doctors park and their employees. Also, in regards to the Adams Community Bank, same thing. We've been talking with them. I think we're very close to having an agreement where they can continue to park their cars during the day. And they will have a month, the bank will pay a monthly fee to the town so their employees can park there. And we've also worked with the business community in that area. So we are working, diligently to ensure we reach out to everyone that's involved and to the businesses mainly and the Council on Aging to ensure that we work together to get through this. We're gonna, the same rules possibly for these. We haven't decided that yet as a board. I don't want to speak out of turn, but, on Sundays, you don't pay the parking meters in Park Street. Most likely won't pay the kiosk there. That's something we will decide in the future. But, same rules, as during the week as the parking meters. The reason for putting these there is that we need to have movement of vehicles, especially on the weekends, not so much during the week, but on the weekends. We do have many tourists, if you want to call them that, those that bring their bicycles in for the Ashwiltacook Rail Trail to ride the train. We have all kinds of cars pulling in from, not from Adams, but from other communities that are coming in to use that facility. And so, the board has thought real hard on this one. We understand the concerns, but the town is, we like to have, collect and get the tourists money as much as we can. I was going through Park Street Saturday or Sunday this past weekend or Monday, and the bike store was open. There was all kinds of bikes on Park Street, and there was people that do not live in Adams. At least I haven't seen them in our community. Just probably, maybe Jimmy and the Pig sending them over, but they seem like they're enjoying themselves, and they take their bikes and they go on Ashwiltacook Trail. There's a lot of people that come to the town of Adams every weekend here. I mean, most people don't realize that unless you get out and you stop at the community center and see for yourselves. But as I walk through the town and the trail, and I see that myself. So things are starting to happen. We're starting to get more and more people to come to our community. So the board would like to be able to get some of that profit, and the cost is going to be very low. It could be, most likely, I go to the Pittsfield ones, I use them when I go to Pittsfield for meetings, and, I take a picture of my license plate, walk over and do my thing, and the first half hour is free. If you're only in it for a half hour and get out, it doesn't cost you a penny. And if you're there for a little while, it costs you a few bucks. It's not going to, so we're going to keep it, the same as, work with Pittsfield and other communities, and we're not going to get rich on it, but there's just going to be another cash flow for this community. And we have other cash flows for this community that we've been working with other businesses that you will see coming into the town soon to be able to have, have that investment that we can use to improve this community. We are well aware of your tax rates, and we've heard that for the last 6-7 years. Joe and I have, Rick. But, we're working on ways that we can use these resources to help build this community and alleviate some of the pressure on the taxpayers and get away from that $25 ceiling. And I think we're on the right track. We've got a good board here. We're on the right track to do so. So, I know there's a lot of concern out there, but please come to our meetings. Please stop down, call the town hall, give your concerns. All of us have our email addresses off the town website. And very rarely do we get any, at least me, I'm not talking to the rest of the board, maybe, I don't know. But please email us, and we'll get back to you, and we'll, just send your concerns our way. We're the ones that make the decision, not the social media. Adams Informed does not make any decision. This board and the town administrator makes a decision as this community. So if you want something done, come here en masse, and we're going to listen to you, even just one person. We will listen to you and see if there's anything we can do. So that's the way to make things happen in this community, is to get out, get down here, protest if you have to, which is your legal right, and speak to this board, and hopefully we can work together, come up with a solution as we have with the businesses that surround the new parking lot that we have. So the board isn't out, we're out to do the right thing and get some income coming in this community. And the board has, just to be straight, the board did give consensus at the workshop meeting that we had requested that the town administrator move forward with the kiosk design. Now, that does not mean in another year or so that it just doesn't work. We'll adjust, right? If it isn't working, we're not going to keep doing it. So be patient. We'll all get through it. We all got to work together, come together when these things happen, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to reiterate also what you said. I think the rollout was, a lot of misconceptions were brought out. I read Berkshire's, and there was some specifics that weren't brought out, and people saying it's just another money grab for the community. And as John mentioned, it's going to be a minimal fee, and people got to realize that Adams is kind of growing, and it isn't very rare for a community of our size to go to a parking lot and have to pay some money. It's certainly not going to make the town rich, but it's just a beginning to, bring us up to date with other communities. It's something that you'll see just about everywhere you go. It's not a money grab by any means. I mean, we're certainly not going to be filling up our coffers with money we're making from revenue on the parking lot, but it will help for maintenance that will be needed there. So once again, I think that the rollout was not as good as I'd like, but I think there was a lot of misconception with some of the comments I read on Berkshire's. I usually don't read them, but my older sister said, geez, it looks like everybody's mad about that. So I went online and, I read them, and it just a lot of misconception out there. And it seemed like one person's negative comment snowballed, and then by the time you got to the bottom of the rollout of how many comments were, people were way off base of what we're trying to do and how we did it. We've been very careful to make sure, as John mentioned, the elderly have their parking spots, and that the doctors park. We know how valuable with our elderly population, for the use of the doctors park. And Donna's been working hand in hand with businesses, so this isn't something that we just threw out without giving any thought. So that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else? Okay, anything else for Donna? Okay, thank you, Donna. The town council report, nothing this evening. He will be here next week, or in 2 weeks. We have a lot to cover in 2 weeks. Subcommittee and liaison reports. Rick?
The only thing is we had a subcommittee meeting for Memorial Subcommittee. And part of what you heard tonight. So we announced or declared the space available. And we're going to do a tour. And that's about it.
Okay. Christine?
Just a couple of things. I did attend the Adams Cheshire Regional School District meeting last Monday. A lot of the meeting talked about the startup of school and getting things ready. I wanted to thank the chief for meeting with the new superintendent to make sure that drop-off and pickup went smoothly for the first day. I know that there's some questions about busing, and that was definitely something that it's a little new this year, and they are still working through that schedule. And I believe the school committee will have another update at their next meeting. But some of the things that they did talk about was the maintenance for CT Plunkett, which houses Hoosick Valley Elementary School. Donna and I have been working with the school committee, with one of the school committee members and the superintendent on a maintenance plan for that building. The district actually did some upgrades to the building this summer to get the school ready, one of which was very noticeable, and that was the work of the chimney. And it is a chimney that is not in use, that was brought down to a safer grade. It has been repointed, capped, and all of that was done before the start of school. They were actually just cleaning up on the day of, but they did work with the superintendent, the They work with superintendent, the chief of police, to make sure that they opened up that roadway for the drop-off and pickup. But Donna and I are meeting with them again, I think in a week or 2 weeks, to talk about kind of where we go next, and what types of large projects we'll be working on for that building. But that was it for that meeting. And I did also attend the Board of Health's public forum that they held. John Barrett from the Water District was present to answer any questions. There was a restaurant owner there who did have some good questions, good feedback for the Water District and also for the Board of Health. And I appreciated John being available to the Board of Health to be present for that, to answer questions, concerns. I appreciate the work that he did addressing all of the questions that came in as they came in, and I know that he'll be working with Town Hall going forward on communications. And it was nice to see him here this evening as well. Those are my reports.
Thank you. Joe?
Well, one other thing to add to the list that has been done at CT Plunkett Elementary School, the portico where the children get off, the archway was collapsing, and that's been repointed, so the barrier that wouldn't allow the children in has been taken down, so the entrance has been cleared up, and it makes it a lot better for all the kids running in.
Thanks.
That's fine. I'd just like to report on the Adams Suffragette Centennial Celebration Committee. We've signed a contract with the sculptor to put up the Susan B. Anthony bronze statue that's going to be put on the town common. We're moving along with our fundraising, and it's been a challenge, but we're meeting the challenge, and I think in 2020 that the town's going to be proud of the accomplishments of the board. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Jim?
The DPW fixed the backstop up the Fifth Street field. It's only a temporary fix, but until we get funds to redo the field, it looks really good. They did a great job up there, I think. And also, DPW redid all the crosswalks. I want to commend them on that. I think they did an outstanding job on that. They're very visible now compared to what they used to be. People still have to watch it when they're coming out. They don't just step out in the traffic even though it's visible crosswalks, but they did do a very good job on it. They should be commended on it. I don't know who designed it or whatever, but I think it's a nice addition to the town. And it's CT Plunkett School or Memorial or whatever it is now. It'll be CT Plunkett forever, but I think that looks great down there now. They did a nice job down there. That's all I have.
And also for CT Plunkett, they've added some air conditioning on the top floor,
Yes,
which is
the third floor.
been years and years in the making. So it's great to see that has finally come through.
Was that temporary, that air conditioning, or is that a permanent thing that they have there?
They've been installed for the third floor, so, you know,
I
in
just
the
seen the
warmer
windows,
months. Yeah.
And I have a Berkshire Regional Planning Commission Executive Committee meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock, which I will be in attendance. Okay, next is announcements and go to the order. Rick?
I'll be good. I have nothing.
Christine?
I have a couple of things. One, I wanted to thank all of those who, first off, worked at the polls yesterday for the state primary, and I want to thank those who came out to vote yesterday, and thanking all of those who ran for public office. It's not an easy task, as all of us at this table are well aware of, so I do commend everybody, and I thank them for throwing their name out there. I also just wanted to thank Donna and just publicly state, I think you did a wonderful job with the train platform and the ribbon cutting. It was a long time coming.
That was fun.
But it was a great event, and it was wonderful to have the Lieutenant Governor here for that event, and just wanted to thank you and the staff here at Town Hall for making all those arrangements. And my last announcement is I think ever since you guys put me on the BRTA commission, or advisory group, transportation is now something that people associate me with, but Senator Hines did appoint me to serve on the Berkshire Flyer 2.0 Transportation Subcommittee. This is a subcommittee that is being run by One Berkshire and the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission. I think there's about 15 members. We'll be meeting monthly to look at the Berkshire Flyer 2.0, that is the train service that Senator Hines is bringing to the county. And I have been asked to serve as the Northern Berkshire elected official on that committee. So I'll be meeting with them monthly, and I'll bring back updates for all of you.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, just one thing to piggyback on what Christine said. The election, and I want to thank Virginia Duval, who's been working very hard as a sub-part of our celebration committee to try to get people out there to vote. I know there was a spirited Northern Berkshire race for the term as district attorney, and I think that certainly brought more people out. We had, I believe, 23% of voters, 1,335 people voting. So that's a start, and once again, just continue to vote. I mean, it's a civic duty that you're allowed to do, and I know Virginia's working hard at it, and she's trying to get 50%. That's a long shot to do, but maybe with the persistence, it can happen. But it's kind of a shame to see so few people vote, and it really can make a difference. One vote can always make a difference. We just have to go back to the presidential election with Al Gore and Bush, when it was, just a few votes away. So I encourage people to vote. I can keep on saying it, but that's a personal decision that you need to make. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Jim?
I don't have anything.
Okay, I feel I'd be remiss if I just, and it's been mentioned once, in regards to the boil water order that was received. The Water District, John Barrett, he received some concerns with the water and some testing that wasn't able to pass DEP requirements, and he took as leadership in that, and he did what he was expected to do. And he did inform the board, but there are a lot of things we can improve on, and especially communications, and I think we can all agree on that. But we are going to work, I think it's already been stated, with the fire district and with the Board of Health, and the Board of Selectmen is not going to sit idly by. We're going to jump into and get involved with this and have a plan ready, and have a communication plan ready. I know the communication could have been a little bit better if we worked as a team. So we're going to do that. We talked to John and others, and we're going to work on that. And the last thing is that, in the past we've had emergencies in this community, in the county, in the country, and the town of Adams has always come together. And when I shouldn't look at social media, and it's only a certain group of people that have their statements that they make in that world. But I would hope, and this could happen again, either with the boil water, or it could happen with electric being out in a winter storm for days. I would hope that the town of Adams, as we've always done in the past, we come together. We had that tropical storm Irene, and everyone came together, town government and responders and the community, and we got through it, and in the end, we got grants, and we all worked together, and in the end, we came out better for it. And it just, when you see those negative comments from many, many people, and some don't even live in Adams, some don't use their last names, but I would, and I know this will happen. The next time we have an emergency, the town of Adams will come together like we always have. And I'll end it on that note. And I have confidence in everyone out there, so. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Do we?
Oh, I'm sorry, we have,
Executive
we'll say weekly executive session, let's see. Okay, we have an executive session this evening. I'd like to have a motion, if someone could state the reasoning.
Make a motion, the board enter executive session for purpose number 3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, and if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares.
Okay, we have a motion by Rick, do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Christine, this is a roll call vote. Rick?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Yes for me, Joe?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so after this executive session, do we have one or two here?
One.
Just one. After the executive session, the board will come out of executive session only to adjourn.
Two.
No.
No.
You got a vote.
Oh, yes, we are voting on this one. The board will come out of executive session to vote on the Local 204, Council 93, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFLO-CIO DPW unit. We will take that vote before we adjourn, just to alert anyone here that would like to come back after they hear that. Okay? All right, we're going to take a 5-minute intermission before we...